All right. Welcome, folks. Welcome, friends. Welcome, Space Timers. This is episode 3 of the Love, Space, and Time podcast entitled, What's the Relationship's Purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm Vern, everybody.
And Misha.
And we are together in the Atlanta studios, giving Tyler Perry a run for his money.
We sure are.
Yes, indeed.
We sure
But
are.
we are reunited and it feels so good. This
Mm-hmm.
long distance relationship has been going strong, and we are happy, and we are extra happy when we get those moments when we can actually come together and be in the same space at the same time.
Absolutely.
So we are covering multiple platforms here. What's up to everybody who's on Facebook?
Peace.
We got a Facebook Live going on. We got the YouTube audience that's going to be checking us out, and we got the audio for all of our podcasting friends and listeners. So we are happy that you all are tuning in, and we want to encourage you to keep tuning in because we're always going to have something wonderful and special every Sunday at 7 p.m. So tell your friends, spread the word, hit like, subscribe, share. Make sure you tune in with us. Visit the website,
lovespaceandtime.com.
Yes.
And also, if you're on Facebook, if you're seeing this, of course, you're on Facebook, but you can catch us in this particular group. Love, Space, and Time is our page. And also, we have a discussion group. If you would like to be added to that discussion group, then you can just send us a quick message or a comment on our page, Love, Space, and Time.
All right, folks. Tell you what, we're going to do the best that we can today. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. Something got a hold on me. Oh, won't let me go. I don't know what happened, but yesterday I was feeling all right. Today we went out for a hike in the mountains. Were we in the mountains?
No,
we weren't in the mountains.
Not in the mountains, no, but
we were in a rainforest or something like that.
In rainforest.
Rainforest in Georgia. It was wild, wildlife and whatnot out there. Ducks and fish and turtles and butterflies and moths and all types of stuff. So
I came. Those are extremely loud.
They look kind of hazardous. You know how they do it in Georgia, but nevertheless, we are here and we are covering some good ground. We came together because we wanted to accomplish something. Everything that we do is built on purpose.
Yes, very much so.
So we wanted to make sure that we got a productive weekend. And there are some goals that we have set before us, short-term goals, long-term goals, with this platform, with some other projects that we're working on, and just looking and figuring out what does it mean that we are together? What does it mean that we're a couple? What is going to be our impact on the planet?
Right.
You know, what's the mark that we're going to leave?
Exactly. That's very, very important. Brendan and I are both very much into.
You move me off the camera.
Oh, so I'm trying to. Yeah. So from the beginning, we've been the type of couple to want to work on things together. I know that's definitely important for me, and I soon discovered it was important for him as well. For us to have something to work on together, something that we can do together, because that helps to bridge the miles that are, in between us if we have something collective that we are both working on. In the beginning, it was from this book. We were asking questions of each other every single day and a topic of conversation. And then we started talking about, well, yes. And then we started talking about, well, what can we do on the business front? And so Vernon began to put together a business, Cameron Business Services. And now we are here at the podcast because we just don't have enough on our plates already, do we?
We don't have enough. No.
We don't have enough on our plate. So we're here at the podcast. But this is definitely a more intimate setting for me because it gives us an opportunity to share some things that are going on in our relationship and how we are learning and growing with each other. So purpose for us is very, very key. I want to feel like I'm going somewhere and doing something. And I know he feels the same. He wants to feel like what we're working on and what we're doing together is actually leading up to something.
Absolutely. And we didn't necessarily have to look for things to do together. We didn't come together based on feelings, and we weren't trying to build something on superficial attraction. You know, I think she's gorgeous. She thinks I'm fine. I love the sound of her voice. She loves the sound of mine. But there's got to be more to why we're together.
Yes.
Because when we hit bumps in the road, if the going gets rough, I mean, is my fineness going to be enough to really get us over that hurdle?
No.
I don't think so. I'm not going to take that for granted. Might be, you know, things might work out in my favor, but I'm not going to take that for granted. And likewise, you know, it's just the fact that she's beautiful to me and I like the way her voice sounds. That's not something I can build my life on, something I can build a legacy on.
Right.
So we were both kind of driven from the beginning. And when we realized that we had so many common lanes that we could work together, we can actually do things together, accomplish and achieve together. Mm-hmm. That just made it so much more common sense that, hey, we lock arms, we hold on to one another, and we'll do life together. That's what I say. We're doing life together.
I love that. I love the idea of doing life together because I don't want to be alone. I love myself. I love myself. I do. But if you can have someone to do all the things with that you like to do, to me, that just makes life that much more better.
Absolutely. Companionship.
Companionship.
We have key words that are the foundation of our relationship. Mm-hmm. Commitment, willingness, initiative, decision, and companionship is definitely one of those. What we want out of life, what we're going to be in this life. Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to be for ourselves and what we're going to be for one another. So a companion for life.
Yes, exactly.
If you get the chance, look up those words, look up the meanings, and let's create a culture where we're having more conversations based on those vocabulary words as opposed to, you know,
the more toxic words that are out there, that
the stuff that's in the news and you know, pop culture, all of that.
Those things don't concern us. Those things don't concern us. So today we are going to talk about what is the purpose, what is the relationship's purpose? Why are we together? Mm-hmm. Why would any of us be together?
Yeah. And apply that to yourself now, because, you know, this is, it's the Vern and Misha show, but Misha and Bird show, but, you know, the purpose of this is something that is blanket for all long distance relationships. We found something good, something that strengthens the bonds and really gears us and attracts us more and more to each other with each passing day. And I got to tell you, that purpose, that meaningful interaction that we're having, that goal that we're working towards, it makes a lot of things that challenges some relationships, they don't matter. You know, the little things really don't matter. They don't mean as much. And things that people stumble over and become such a big stumbling block, we got work to do. We got things that we're trying to accomplish. We have people who are depending on us, or at least people that we want to make an impact in their lives. Mm-hmm. So the little things that I guess could be an issue in relationships, but they don't have to be. They're certainly, we're not going to let them stop us.
One key thing that I want to talk about is having a made up mind, being very decisive and intentional about what it is that you want to do. I know I have a lot of inner conversations where I'm like having this conversation with myself and just asking myself what it is that I really want and what I feel like it's time for me to do. And, you know, you really have to be tired of and disgusted with the old version of yourself to decide that you're going to do something more and better for yourself. And so I decided that I did want to be very intentional about the relationship that I'm in with Vernon. And I hope that I expressed that clearly to him at the beginning. Like, I didn't want to feel like I'm wasting my time, and I didn't want him to feel like he was wasting his time with me. So, you know, and plus we're at a certain stage in life where we've had lots of life experiences and we are very keen on what it is that we want and not wasting time. So with that in mind and with that groundwork laid, it's like, okay, like you said, the little stuff just doesn't even matter. As long as we know this is the goal that we're working towards, we want to build these things along the way and eventually be in the same space with each other, whether it's here in Atlanta or where you are in Delaware or anywhere on the planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully warmer weather.
Warmer weather, yes, indeed.
So, but because we've been very intentional about that, there's no such thing as moving too fast because we have been very intentional about the things that we want to do in this relationship. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. When you move with purpose, it's not the things that concern the average person doesn't come into play here, because first of all, we're not average people. We're trying to be above average, and we're trying to achieve above average results.
Right.
But when people start to question whether they're moving too fast or too slow or according to whose timetable, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to anybody else's rate of accomplishment anyway.
And I did say that to you a few months ago.
Mm-hmm. She raised the question.
Am I moving too fast? Are we moving too fast? Because I was in that old mindset of things should go at a certain pace.
Mm-hmm.
But the more that I got to know you and understand who you are as a person and how driven you are, then that helped me to release any fears that I had.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I'm a realist. I try my best to approach every situation with reality guiding what I see and what decisions I'm going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of moving too fast in a relationship, there's, especially in a long distance relationship, there's only so fast you can move.
Exactly.
You're in a long distance relationship because of some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to go away until it goes away. So that kind of puts that in check. That puts that reality in check and make sure that you can only move as fast as reality will let you move anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So once you understand that, it's good for us. And many people have said, people who have wisdom that we trust, say that it's good to say that it is good to lost my train of thought. What was that? I don't even know what that was. Well, people say it's good to start with the end in mind. Okay. So it's good to start with an idea of what your end goal is. Mm-hmm. Just wing it. We'll see how this turns out. Maybe that works. Maybe that works for some people. I don't know why this is counting down like that. We got another platform that's excuse the technical difficulties, y'all. I don't know. We'll figure out what's going on with that. Seems like we're live. Seems like everything is going on. I don't know why it's. Oh, wow. It's counting down like it's going to end. Okay. We'll have to do something else. No problem. We can adapt and we can adjust.
We can definitely do that.
Yes, indeed. But as I was saying, wise people have said that it's a good idea to start with the end in mind. Mm-hmm. And be decisive. That's something that we pride ourselves on and that we find that's essential to our relationship. So we're not going to go into this without exploring what are we doing? Where are we headed? What can this turn into? What do we want it to turn into? What do you think of that?
Well, I know what I want out of this relationship. I know what I want.
What do you want out of this relationship?
Definitely the companionship is a big thing for me. Someone that can share in the experiences that I'm having. When we're apart, like I literally call this man every day. Yeah, besides the morning prayer and affirmation and all of that, mm-hmm. I literally call every day, every time something happens that significant, or maybe not so much. Somebody could just be getting on my nerves and I need to vent. He gets all of that. Mm-hmm. How exciting.
And I'm here for it too.
Yeah, he's here for all of the shenanigans. But even when I'm just not feeling so good about myself, because sometimes it happens and I need someone to talk to.
Happens to the best of us.
Listen, this man will listen to all of my stuff and won't let me go too deep down the rabbit hole. but will listen to what I have to say. And I just feel like that is just so amazing to have someone to be a listening ear for you. So,
Absolutely.
how do you think that society in general approaches relationships?
Uh, you know my stance. I think that the I'm big on meaning. I'm big on defining terms, and I think that by and large, most people who call themselves being in a relationship, wanting to be in a relationship, struggling in a relationship, really probably have no clue of what a relationship means, and that's because they don't include purpose in the definition. They don't include ideas like duty and obligation,
Mm.
and what using us, what I decide I'm going to mean to her in her life,
Hmm.
how I'm going to add value
Right.
to
Add
her,
value.
to her life, the things that are important to her. If I'm going to be her friend, if we're going to have friendship, if we're going to be in a relationship, I have to at least if I don't begin to value them also, I have to at least respect the things that she has value for, that she values.
Mm.
So how I'm going to show up in her life and in her world is the basis of any relationship that we're going to have.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not trying to step correctly with that in mind,
yeah, you're wasting your time.
I'm wasting my time. We certainly can't call that relationship. Relationship, the root of relationship is lation. That's a process. You ain't know about that one.
Relation. Where you get that from?
Check this out. The
Okay,
process, the process of lacing something together.
Oh.
Lacing means to tie together.
Okay.
Relationship means you deliberately and on purpose tie this together over and over again. Make sure it stays tied.
Re-meaning over
again,
and over again.
Over and over again.
Oh, okay. Wow. Go ahead, Black man. That's what I'm talking about.
Man without wisdom will always struggle with a woman.
Ooh, won't he?
Won't he? Sometimes men with wisdom still struggle with women, but you know,
I wonder why.
At least you got to try. But yeah, that was a definition that was given to me, and again, that brought it home and made it something that set for 15 minutes. I know it was set for an hour when I did it, but in any case, yeah, that was given to me a long time ago, and it stuck, and it made sense to me. And you know, in Islam, they say marriage is half of faith. Think about that. Marriage is half of faith. I mean, you got to redefine that term. What does marriage mean? Half of this your faith, your path, your relationship with God and everything else in creation. It's about marriage. Maybe that means something more than just the idea that, oh, you got to get married. Maybe it does.
Got a ring, got a dress. It's more than that.
It's more than that. It's more than that. Maybe we need to look at every interaction that we have as a potential relationship, as a possibility that we can be tied together with a purpose that we have to continually revisit, remind ourselves of, so that we can interact with every human being based on purpose. Hold my mule.
Hold his mule, Lord. He is on the road. He is on the road. So apparently that was my bad because I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. I thought I had to set
I accept responsibility for that, babe. I apologize.
No problem. I won't hold it against you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so let's go on to our next question. You said, here's our next question. What do I have to offer my partner? I wonder how many times, because I know we've been having, or society in general has been having this conversation about what you bring to the table. And I think a lot of times that conversation is based on material things. Material things come and go.
That's true.
I'm sure we can all look back over our lives and see the things that we once had and no longer had and hadn't thought about it until you, oh, I used to have a pair of leather boots, or I used to have a black miniskirt. You know, oh, I used to have a BMW or whatever.
I used to have all this money in my bank account.
Exactly. And those things come and go. So I believe that the real conversation needs to be about what do I as a person have to offer my partner as far as character,
Hmm.
loyalty, steadfastness, initiative,
Right.
my presence, my resourcefulness.
Hmm.
Resourcefulness is important in a relationship because sometimes things will not go the way you thought they would, and you have to flip the script, pivot, do things differently than you thought. What type of emotional availability are you able to bring to the relationship?
Hmm. That's true. That's true.
Are you working on yourself to know your triggers so that when things come up in your relationship, you're not taking it out on your partner?
Hmm. Absolutely.
You don't want to project your things that you know you need to heal from and have known that you needed to heal from and have never worked on. You don't want to project it on your partner because what that's going to do is chase them away.
Yeah.
And you end up losing a good person because you just haven't taken the time to work on yourself.
That's serious. The number of relationships, the number of couples that started down the road together and split because of stuff like that,
Mhm.
because people don't come to terms with themselves
Right,
and say, hey, look, this stuff that clearly doesn't belong to her, I'm not going
right,
to put on her.
right,
That's my stuff. I got to deal with my stuff.
right.
It's bad enough. I got my own stuff that's soiling my persona. I don't want to smear that stuff all over her, and vice versa. If
Mhm.
everybody can learn to clean up their own act, then
Mhm.
at least we'll be acting right when we are with one another.
And
But go ahead.
I was gonna say too, don't do it just for the sake of being with somebody. Do it for the sake of your own mental well-being.
Mhm.
Like I think that we all should be working on ourselves in some kind of way, whatever tools we choose to use to work on ourselves. We all should be engaged in that.
Mhm.
And I was the type of person who used to think that, oh, my partner always has to be with me. I always got to be around him and this and that. But having your own personal space and time is really important. We all need to be alone with our thoughts.
Yeah, self love is the best love.
Self love is the best love, but there's nothing wrong with giving your partner space to go and do their own thing,
Mhm.
to focus on themselves or focus on their thoughts and spend that alone time so that they can have a moment to just reset and then come back being reset, being refreshed,
Mhm.
having a clear heart and mind, and hopefully with wins about, hey, babe, I worked on this today and I feel better about this situation
Mhm.
because of A, B, C, and D. Because most of us are not mental health counselors.
Right.
We can sit and listen to you, but sometimes we don't have the tools to take that journey.
Mhm.
So, I definitely am an advocate for therapy if therapy is needed with a professional counselor. And sometimes you just gotta take that long walk on the beach
True.
by yourself or sit outside in the rain.
It's interesting. I want to answer the question. The question is, what do I have to offer my partner? But
Mhm,
because you just made that point, it certainly is important for an individual, for you to get in touch with yourself. It's also good to realize what your limitations are.
mhm,
There are certain points where every one of us needs somebody that they can confide in, somebody that they can open up to, and I mean beyond just the significant other that you have in your life. There has to be a neutral
a
point
neutral
of
party.
view
Mhm,
that can help you see what you can't see, or help you see outside of what you automatically think and know. But beyond also looking for professional help, a therapist, or go see counseling, it's important to have a community. It's important to have people that
absolutely.
can relate to what you are about, relate to the situation that you're in,
Mhm,
and uh, can speak from that perspective. Because sometimes it's lonely, just trying
mhm,
to do life and relate to other people, and they just ain't getting it. They
mhm,
just have no clue, and
mm,
to accomplish what it is that most people find is worthwhile to accomplish, usually 9 times out of 10, you got to deal with naysayers as opposed to the people that would
yes.
really give you something that's going to help you reach your goals. So if you're in a long distance relationship, if you're um, trying your best to see this person as clearly as you can and settle on the best part and build a future based on that. You don't need somebody telling you all the reasons why it won't work, telling you all the reasons why that's not a good choice.
That's like you being married, having single friends. And you go to your single friends and you're talking about your partner, how they did this and did that to get on your nerves. And what did your single friend tell you? Oh, you need to go get a side chick because, or you need to get a side man because this, that, and the third. No. Yes. We need to have be surrounded by a community that's on that same vibration.
Absolutely.
Who's going to encourage you to do what's best and do what's right by your person and get the healing and the therapy that you would need to help you deal with whatever issues.
Absolutely.
Being around people who advise you to go against your relationship if it's just a bump in the road, or you know what I'm saying, like that's not a good thing.
For sure.
That's not a good thing at all.
For sure. So to get back to offer, what do I have to offer my partner? Again, it's in line with what we're talking about. The number one thing I have to offer is myself. I'm offering the best version and a constantly and never ending improving version of myself. Whatever is in the course of her future, if I want to be her life partner, I got to constantly be evolving so that the future me is ready for what she needs in that moment. That's who I'm striving to become.
That's my pearls.
You know, gotta know how to do that when you need to. But yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what that vision for myself that inspired me, and my approach to her was to share my vision, and the way that she reacted to my vision of what I wanted for myself inspired her, and then we got united in that striving for that vision. My vision was big enough to include a vision that she had. So together, we are now striving to make that whole reality.
We are walking into that reality that we talk about, that we pray about, that we send affirmations out there about. We are walking into it.
Absolutely.
That's the way I like to look at it. We're walking into it.
I started saying your word. I'm trying to stop saying that too.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it.
Yeah. We keep on saying the same word over and over again. We're working on that. Communication is key. We're learning how to communicate on the highest level so that we can produce the results that we actually want to produce. So I saw you grab one of our favorite books over there. What's up with that?
Yes. So I actually do have a question that I would like to pose.
What section is this one from?
This one is in finance and work.
Oh, okay.
Because we hit intimacy twice already.
Hey, if you all are looking, we keep pulling out this book, right? Real Relationship Talks. Relationship Talks by Katrina Muhammad. It is absolutely, I'm going to say, I recommend it for everybody who is in a relationship, particularly if you're in a long distance relationship, because before you get all the way in it, there's some things that you need to think of. And this book is full of questions that can spark the conversations that need to be had before people get in too deep.
Ooh, and then even after you get in deep, don't ever stop asking questions.
Hey, you got to consult the roadmap.
Don't ever stop asking questions.
Keep looking at the map.
Today's question.
I said that because if you go to lovespaceandtime.com, put your name and your information in there, and it'll take you to where you can get this book.
Awesome stuff. Okay, so tonight's question comes from the section on finance and work. And the question says, should couples in courtship share their full financial information, portfolio, and credit report with each other? So for those of you who don't know, in the Nation of Islam, there is a process called courtship. And so it's basically where you're interested in a person, you begin to interact with this person and just kind of get to know them to see if there's some compatibility there that you would like to build on. So that's what courtship is about. It's a little bit different than dating, but I guess that's the closest closest way to describe it. There's no intimate behavior or anything like that. You're just really just getting to know the person on a very general but specific basis, if that makes sense.
That might be, I don't want to say clash of cultures, but on this show, we're going to come in contact with people from various different cultures.
Right.
There are people who approach relationship from a very structured standpoint.
Yes.
There are people in relationships that deal with arranged marriages. There's some cultures around the world where the parents decide that my son is going to marry your daughter, or your grandson is going to marry my granddaughter, and stuff like that. So the range or the spectrum goes from very, very structured to how a lot of people are doing it today. I don't know, people just roll the dice or swipe left or swipe right or whatever it is that they're doing. But one thing that is helpful in one perspective, one culture, which is really old school. If you've ever seen the movie, if you've ever seen the movie The Godfather, there's a scene in the movie The Godfather. I think this is Godfather Part 2, where Michael Corleone, the son, is shipped off to. He's shipped off to Greece. No, not Greece. He's shipped off to Italy, Sicily, right? Sent back to Sicily. You got to lay low for a while.
That was Corleone.
Yeah, Michael Corleone.
No,
he's the name of the city.
Yes, Corleone.
He was shipped off. He sent back to Corleone, right? Birthplace of his father. So he, while he's there, he and his bodyguards, they're walking around, and they see, he sees a young lady that he's attracted to, and he ended up stopping and meeting with a man at a bar, or a man who owns the bar, and just talking about what he saw around in town. He said, "Yeah, I saw this one lady. She was fine and wine, and had a hair in the middle of the ribbon."
He said that exactly.
You had to translate it from Italian, but it turns out it was the bar owner's daughter. All stuff was about to erupt, but Michael Corleone, he was made suave with it.
Yes, he was.
Pulled it out. He said, "I'm interested in your daughter. I would love a chance to meet her. With your permission, your family can be there anytime that we spend together. We'll have chaperones and this, that, and he did it proper like.
Right.
And that's the way it went. And it didn't end beautifully because she got blowed up in a car. But up until that point, it was going beautifully.
Michele. I remember that part.
Yeah, she was going to drive. He said, "No, I belong here." But that doesn't have to be your reality. I'm just saying that there's one aspect of relationship, one approach to relationships that deals with courtship that is very structured. You have chaperones, and you at no point do things that could cloud the judgment of the two parties get there without somebody who's got a little bit more experience and more wisdom being there to share, or at least to open up to and give some words of wisdom and encouragement.
Right.
So with that, that's
long story short.
Long story short, that just to bring us back. The idea that introducing conversations about finances and opening up the books, there's a place for that. Depending on how far you get down the road,
exactly.
There's definitely a time and a place for that. There's some serious conversations that you're going to have to have. And depending on how and why you all got together, you'll find out, you'll both determine when the right time for that is. There's some people in relationships today and, out here doing their thing, and the first conversation is what kind of job you got, what's your credit score, and, it's all about it's all about the Benjamin's baby, So it's different for different people. But if you are trying to structure your approach, structure these conversations, make sure that they're meaningful, then yeah, there's definitely a place and a time when you should sit down and open up the books and deal with exactly the reality of what you have. Not trying to fake it out, because eventually that's going to come out. You can't lie about something like that.
I think that too, from the beginning, there's a lot of casual conversation and things that you can observe just from being around somebody. You can observe where they work, what type of car they drive, where they live, their spending habits, if they're spending money going on vacations every 2 months. You can observe all of that as you're going along. And I feel like it's key to kind of get to the finer points of things
Mhm.
when there is, possibly an engagement situation or you're moving in together,
Mhm.
especially when you're moving in together. You want to know the finances because, nobody wants to be around here with their lights off and their
Right.
car getting repoed
Whoa,
and
wait a minute.
cable being cut off and like, especially if you're living with your partner, you want to know what the finances are and maybe even set up a bill account where you're paying all of your bills from, as a force to, manage your household. So definitely got to talk about all of those things, and perhaps there's a way that you can help your partner build their credit up if they don't have
Mhm.
a high score, quote unquote. There are ways that you can help your partner. You can work on that together. You can work on helping each other get out of debt. So
Absolutely. There's one of the major relationship killers. One thing that destroys marriages. They say communication. They say intimacy, of course. They say finances. So it is just to everybody's advantage if you make financial literacy a part of your conversation. If you
mhm.
come up with a way to do this. If you come up with um, what am I trying to say? If you come up with a
A
way
game
that,
plan.
yeah, game plan. If you come up with, hey, this is going to be an actual part of our relationship, so we
Hmm.
may as well come up with a strategy, come up with a game plan, a way that we're going to operate financially, so that we can sustain ourselves, so that we can make sure that we're not here today, gone tomorrow.
Hmm.
You know.
And that goes back to what's the purpose of your relationship, because one of the purposes of your relationship could be that you help each other, or as a couple you put yourselves in a better financial situation. So you come up with a game plan of, okay, so this is my current situation, this is how much money I'm making, this is what I have as far as a business is concerned, and you come up with a game plan to put yourself in a better situation together. Like, I firmly believe that two heads are definitely better than one,
Mhm.
especially when you are financially minded and trying to grow yourselves in the financial arena. So that's what I appreciate about this guy, because from the beginning it was like, oh, let me show you about digital currency and wealth building and all of that.
First,
And
it was our first conversation. One of our first conversations was about the book, The Richest Man in Babylon.
yes, and that's something that we've done a lot of. We have read a couple books together and had discussions about those books, which has helped me to grow in the financial literacy arena. And we're still learning,
Yeah,
still learning.
yeah.
So
You know, I'm loving how we're going through these first couple of episodes because we're working out all the kinks. You know what? Whatever happens, we rolling with it. We had
hmm.
to we had to silence all the noise. We had background noise and stuff going on. You know, the vents and whatnot. The AC system was blowing and whatnot. We turned it all
Loud.
down. We in here smoldering, boy. It's
All right.
smoking. So we working it. We working it. But yeah, that is important so that we know where we're headed. You
Hmm.
know, there's things that we're expecting to happen, let's say a year from now. Well,
Hmm.
you got to know, okay, well, 6 months, what should we be looking at? What's the plan if in 6 months we're not where we think we should be? How do we adjust and adapt and get ourselves either back on track or look down the line and say, okay, we probably can't hit that year goal, scrap that and do something else, or this is what we're going to do in order to make that happen and revamp the timeline. But you have to do that.
Yeah, and with all of that, when it comes down to purpose, it can't be everything can't be romanticized. You know what I'm saying? It can't be like, oh, I love you, babe, all the time. Yes, I love you, but what are we doing actually and factually
Mm-hmm.
to, make this relationship what we want it to be and what we said we wanted it to be and what we planned for it to be like? It can't be all, woo,
It's
my
not
boo,
about your
my
feelings.
exactly. It's got to be about, okay, what are the concrete actions that we can definitely take, and that just goes back to what is the purpose of you being here? You just want to have somebody that you want to take cute pictures
Boot up,
with,
boot up.
right? You want to be booed up, and is that all that you want, or do you want to have something that you want to build something together that you can say we started from the bottom, literally, and now we are here. Like that's the kind of thing that I want. I could be proud of myself for that and proud of us for that because I want to be living out in the country with my yard and my garden and my grandbabies, coming to play in the yard. That's my vision for what we're doing. And that all of that is under the umbrella of financial freedom.
Yep, for sure. Off the
Financial
grid.
freedom.
We're trying to be off the grid. Viva la resistance!
All right.
No, but we definitely want to share that idea, convey that idea, and find other people who are thinking along those same lines. Imagine if, our children or, other people in the community that, next generation that could benefit from that kind of viewpoint rather than just go along to get along. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of young people, there's a lot of people in Gen Z, right? And whatever the generation after Gen Z is. I lost track, right? But there's some people who have totally given up on the idea of marriage. People have totally given up on the idea that there's some people who don't even think that they're going to be able to own their own home. And there's a lot of factors that are, contributing to that.
Right.
But I don't know. I can't give up on certain ideas. And if we can play a part in sharing these ideas and stimulating these kind of conversations, and making sure that the ones who are coming on behind us can at least benefit from this kind of understanding, then they can make decisions that get them in a better place rather than just accept things as they are and think that they have to live a lesser quality of life than their parents or grandparents lived.
And here's a not so novel approach to all of this. Like the level of social engineering in this country has convinced us that we have to do everything separately. But if we get back to community building and co-oping and sharing the resources that we have, then we can definitely do that. We can definitely do that. Vern and I are together. If we had 4 or 5 other families that were willing to work together, we can do that type of thing. We can build a community where we can be homeowners. We can, have acres and build houses on those acres and share with each other the crops that we grow and educate the children and have a safe place for us to be. Like that is still entirely possible. It's just the mindset has to change. We don't have to do everything by ourselves. We don't. You don't have to be an individual. You can be with a person, with a group of people, with a community that has the same type of ideas that you do, and you get together and you do the work. You build what you want to see.
LoveSpaceandTime.com, y'all.
LoveSpaceandTime.com is an example of that.
Check it out. But yeah, us and we sound so much better than I and me. Everybody, especially in America, there's this tradition of rugged individualism. That's what it's been called. Everybody's just out for self, doing it their own way. And sometimes that just makes things more difficult than it needs to be.
It does.
I've been saying for the last few years, before it's all over, many of us are going to realize that we need one another.
We do.
So the idea of community and the idea of linking arms with like minds, finding those kindred spirits, and committing to something together is going to be much more valuable if you do it consciously rather than you're forced to be in that situation.
Right, exactly.
So find your tribe, and if you haven't found your tribe yet, if you're in a long distance relationship, if you know someone who's in a long distance relationship, there's an oasis called Love, Space, and Time. We would gladly invite you all to it.
Exactly.
So we're about wrapping up on the end of this episode.
It's time for dinner.
I need a nap, y'all. Shoot, I need some hot tea.
We've been outside today.
We've been fighting, wild beasts in the wilderness and whatnot. I'm glad that we're in this safe haven. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you.
Thankful for you too, babe.
And I'm thankful that we got this time together. So thank you all for joining us.
Yes.
Make sure that you hit the like, subscribe button. Please share this out. Let people know that somewhere in space and time, there's a group of us who are talking about peace, love, unity, good, strong relationships,
Mm-hmm.
growing and building a future
Exactly.
that we actually want to see, as opposed to what the commercials are feeding down
We
our
can
throat.
definitely change the world one happy couple at a time.
Here we go. All right. Peace and blessings, y'all.
Peace. I don't know what that connection looked like. It was kept saying slow connection, slow connection.
You know, it does that.
It does.
Where's the stop record? Oh, stop record right there.